I had rice stuck to my shoe from the reception when we signed the first set of papers. We were in a quiet room at the agency, far from the music and speeches, still wearing our wedding bands like fresh paint. Lena squeezed my hand and said, "This is the start of our real family." A week later, we met Malik. He was 8, small for his age, with a backpack that creaked when he shrugged. He asked if the dog in our yard had a name. I told him Blue, and he smiled like a window being opened. It was good from the beginning. Morning cartoons, burnt pancakes, the three of us biking to the park until our legs ached. I wore the ache like a prize. The signs came soft and out of place, like off-key notes in a favorite song. It was the way Lena started arranging our breakfasts, placing the syrup on Malik's side because it pops on camera, asking him to wear the yellow hoodie because brands like yellow. At first, I thought it was new parent enthusiasm. We'd promised ourselves we would share our joy, maybe a photo here, a video there, like everyone else. But the there became everywhere. Unboxing videos, day in our life, reels, a brand sending us matching pajamas if Malik was in frame. She bought a ring light before she bought him a winter coat. When I questioned it, she said we could build a cushion for his college fund. It sounded noble until the cushion sat in an account I never saw. Malik tried so hard to be agreeable. He learned to braid Blue's hairless tail out of worry while the camera watched. He let Lena smooth his curls with a product that made his scalp sting because she said, "Neat hair tells people you're cared for." He asked if he could keep the beaded bracelet his aunt had sent him from his old neighborhood, and Lena said, on camera, "Of course," then hid it in a drawer afterward because it didn't fit our palette. The palette. I began to hate that word the way a man hates a dull blade. The day Malik finally told me, the house was quiet. Lena had taken Blue to a brand meeting where dogs wore bandanas with logos. Malik stood in the kitchen doorway with the bracelet in his fist, eyes steady. "Can I say something without you fixing it right away?" he asked. I told him yes, and he took a breath so long I could feel it in my own ribs. "Before we continue, thank you so much for your support. Every like, comment, and view means the world to us. We're on a mission to reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and we'd love for you to be part of that journey. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and let's grow together. Now, let's proceed." She says I am content. She says if I don't smile right, she can call the lady at the agency and send me back. She says the money from the pajamas is for our future, but I thought it was my future. He opened his hand. The bracelet had been cut and taped back together. She said the beads were too loud. I haven't been loud in a long time. Pain has a sound. Mine was the scrape of a chair across tile. I knelt and asked if anyone had ever touched him or hurt him. He shook his head. "She doesn't hit," he said. "She just edits me." Then he slid a folded paper from his pocket, the edges soft from worry. It was a screenshot he'd printed from Lena's laptop, an email thread between her and the agency director, subject line, "Placement visibility opportunities." "Lena, we can grow engagement if we keep him exclusive to our channel. Director, as discussed, your ongoing support means we can expedite the finalization." A second attachment listed payouts, sponsorship, referral, placement bonus. It was all legal looking, like a trap that had learned to smile. I didn't rush to rage. I made tea. I put Malik's bracelet back on his wrist. Then I told him the truest thing I knew. "You are my son, and you are never going back. Not to any lady, not to any camera." He nodded, like he was tacking my words into the wall of his mind where the wind couldn't reach. When he went to bed, I turned on every light in the house and started pulling threads. Lena was careful, new account numbers, contracts tucked into cloud folders, but careful people fall into patterns. She'd used the same 3 adjectives in every pitch deck: luminous, harmonious, inclusive. I followed those words to a shell company with her maiden name spelled backward. I followed the shell to a family lifestyle channel with 5 brand deals pending. I followed the deals back to the agency whose director had given us a discount on expedited processing, a phrase that chilled me in ways I couldn't say out loud. Revenge is most satisfying when it's also rescue. I called an old friend, Vina, who'd left journalism to work for a nonprofit that watches the watchers. She told me to stop breathing like I'd run up a hill and to send everything, but not from my home IP. I drove to the library with a thumb drive and a mint tin and scanned the contracts until the fluorescent lights hummed like bees. Vina's team threaded the emails against public filings and found the spine. A pipeline of high-visibility placements quietly prioritized for couples with large followings, donations tied to faster court dates, brand money flowing through personal LLCs before trickling into child funds that never materialized. It was legal enough to pass a glance. It wouldn't survive daylight. I staged our own daylight. Lena had scheduled a family Q&A live for the following Sunday to celebrate 1 million followers. She had a balloon arch delivered and a script where she'd ask Malik whether he felt seen and loved. I let the production wheels spin. I answered her questions with nods and not answers and heatless small talk. I took Malik to the barber and asked the man to just listen when Malik said what he wanted. He said he wanted his hair like his cousin's, sharp, proud, his own. The barber grinned. We left with a cut that made Malik stand taller in his shoes. I bought him a new bracelet. Same beads, stronger thread. The day of the live, Vina gave me the go. We'll publish 6 minutes in, she said. Watch for the tremor. I put Blue in the backyard so he wouldn't bark at the doorbell, then sat with Malik on the couch. The ring light glowed like a small, indifferent sun. Hey family, Lena chirped, reading her lines. Today we celebrate love. She squeezed Malik's shoulder, and he didn't flinch. He had asked me the night before if he could be brave in public, and I had said yes, but only if he wanted to. He said he did, as long as my hand was near. 6 minutes in, Lena's phone, placed face down for aesthetics, began to strobe with notifications. Then mine did. The chat moved from hearts and your goals to links and question marks and ice. Vina's story ran with receipts, contracts, emails, payouts, a spreadsheet of visibility bonuses annotated with dates and case numbers. The nonprofit's lawyers had filed complaints with the state attorney general and child services. 2 brand partners had announced immediate pauses pending review. The tremor rolled through the room. Lena tried to smile at the camera, caught her reflection in the phone, and stuttered. Haters are haters, she breathed. But her eyes were on me now. A silent command, a plea, a threat. I took Malik's hand. This is our Q&A, I said, meeting the lens like a witness stand. So here's an answer. My son is not a brand. He is not content. He is a child who deserves a childhood out of view. We adopted him because we wanted a family, not an audience. I didn't know the extent of what was happening, and I'm sorry for what I missed. Effective immediately, this channel is done. The funds you've given under the belief they were for Malik's future will be moved into a trust in his name, controlled by an independent fiduciary. We will publish the trust documents. We will cooperate with every investigation. And if you've been part of this, if you're an agency selling children as engagement, your daylight is here. Lena lunged for the phone, but I was faster. I ended the stream. In the sudden quiet, we could hear Blue scratching at the door. Lena hissed that I had ruined her, that I didn't understand how the industry worked, that I was making us look guilty. I told her there was no us left in that sense. When the knock came, it wasn't police yet, just a courier with a manila envelope. I signed for the temporary protective order I'd filed that morning. Malik watched from the hallway, clutching Blue's leash. Lena called me a Judas. I told her to pack a bag and go to her mother's. She did, raging. The balloon arch sighed and sagged as the front door opened and closed. Revenge felt less like a strike and more like a hinge turning on oiled pins. The brand deals evaporated before sunset. The agency's phones went unanswered by morning. Vina's story spread, others stepped forward. Investigations bloomed like storm clouds. The expedited processing pipeline was halted. The director resigned, then was arrested 2 weeks later for fraud and coercion. Lena tried to rally under a new handle with a healing journey, but the algorithm had a memory and the receipts had teeth. In divorce court, our prenup held. Her shell company income counted. Child Services interviewed Malik privately, and he told them about edits and palettes and the bruise you get when someone doesn't touch you for months. The judge granted me sole legal and physical custody with unsupervised visitation at Malik's discretion. He chose not to visit. The last ribbon of revenge I tied quietly. The trust became real. Funded by every cent ever earned in Malik's name, plus the damages from a civil suit we brought against the agency and the brands that knowingly bypassed consent. The trustee said it so that I couldn't touch it. Not for college, not for a car, not for anything except Malik's future on his terms. When I signed the final document, my hand steadied in a way it hadn't since our wedding day. I also created a small grant in Malik's birth aunt's name for kids who wanted to keep the parts of themselves people tried to edit out. Hair, bracelets, voices. One night, months later, we were in the kitchen again. Blue was older, grayer, fat with unbranded treats. Malik had a science project drying on the table, papier-mâché planets, each one a slightly lopsided miracle. "Do you think I was loud today?" he asked, unprompted. I looked at the paint under his fingernails and the ring of dry glue around Saturn. "I think you were, I said. He nodded and tapped his bracelet twice, the way he did when he was proud. We put on some music and danced in the spill of the fridge light. No camera but memory, no audience but the two of us and a dog that couldn't keep a beat. That was the revenge. In the end, we changed the ending. We took back our story. We closed the window and kept the warmth for ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. Your support means the world to us.